Waking from a dream that seemed too real to be a dream, Pastor Richard peered into nothing for some minutes. Me? Mad? How? No. I said no. He stood to his feet and started praying. He didn't know the battle to be fought, but he knew something had to be done. He also knew his supposed love for God had begun to shift, but also he knew his life should not remain so. It was a battle for his side or a battle for no side, and he really wanted none of the sides. Something should be done. There should be another way. After an hour of prayer, Pastor Richard sat on the bare floor, reminiscing on the dream and the instruction he had just received. He loved God, but he also knew that he had tarried too long on the mountain of want and lack. He had to move. He was shuddered by the instruction. How can God tell me not to see Pastor Nick? I know Nick since ministry school. He was a devoted lover of God, and in fact, the one that groomed me in the love and hunger I claim to have for God. Pastor Richard asked no one but in a tone that spelled anger and frustration. His wife Shade, who had been awake since he started praying, turned to him when he said this. "What's wrong, dear?" she asked, getting up slowly to sit. Like Pastor Richard hadn't heard her, he kept saying, "Am I even sure I know God? I have been praying to God to lift me from financial distress, but I have never received anything from Him. And now, I decide to see Pastor Nick. I'm hearing voices. I cannot be too convinced to say something is wrong. Yes, I need to see Pastor Nick. He groomed me in my first love for God, and He may redirect me if I have left." And as he said, "I have been punching the wrong buttons." Shade stared at him. "What is it, dear? You look worried and you are talking to yourself. What instruction did God give you?" Pastor Rich was quiet for a while, and then he said, "Just go to sleep, all will be fine." Pastor Richard stood before the gigantic building, and once again his heart melted in pain. "Habba, see Nick's auditorium," he said, staring at the large building and wishing it was his. Rich walked through the auditorium to the pastorate, and then he found Nick's office. Rich, wow, you made it here," Pastor Nick said, beaming with wide smiles when he saw him, and also standing to welcome him. "My brother, I have to do what I have to do. Everything is really so. That thing you said about punching the wrong button kept ringing in my mind. Please, what do you mean?" Pastor Nick laughed, and like he was speaking to a young boy, he said, "You have to be calm. I am willing to show you the road to make it quicker in ministry. I'm telling you, the actual route to making it big. But it all depends on you. It depends if you are ready." Ready? If I wasn't ready, I would not be here. 17 years in ministry, 10 years in marriage. I am suffering. My only child is not having the life I really want him to have. My church members are all like paupers. Everyone around me is just looking like darkness. I will tell you the truth. You are the only light that has shone in my life since 17 years now. Wow, I like that, Pastor Nick said, laughing with a sort of boyish pride. "Did you say you have a son?" "Yes, my only child. Just help me. Show me how God did it for you. I recall how you taught me on the love of God during the ministry school days. I believe God can still use you again. Please." Even though the dream kept coming to mind, Pastor Richard suppressed it. "I rebuke every spirit of madness. I cannot be mad. I will be rich," he kept saying to himself calmly. Pastor Nick scribbled something on a piece of paper and handed it to Pastor Richard. "Meet me at this venue on Friday, 2 p.m. In this game, no turning back. Are you sure you are ready?" Pastor Nick asked, giving a stern look that left Pastor Richard wondering if he was really ready.